This is making 10 feet, and then because the barrel has the curve at the edge, that should allow for the 1.5-inch diameter of the 2x4s. Triple Island is on Pier 42, and it's right on the water on the East River. It's kind of a place between nature and the city that was flooded during Hurricane Sandy. Triple Island is a 3-part piece. There are 3 islands that are about 16 feet in diameter, and they have 55-gallon drums underneath them that are secured, so if need be, these structures could float. I think that the future that we're heading towards it looks very grim to me. More environmentally extreme, more politically extreme, and more economically stratified. Triple Island, it is a kind of proposal for a different way of working and living. It's thinking about what do I really need, and what is my life like without some of the things that I want. We're building out these 3 structures. This will be a living, this is a greenhouse, this is kind of an extension of gardens and an area that we'll cook in and stuff like that. So, you guys are going to be the first. I heard that you might be living here too, which is amazing. We've been allowed to build here for a month so far, so this is almost a month. The work that I've been doing for a while now is kind of inventing this entire world that had to do with this future that was really perverse and also the only alternative. The work started with smaller wearable structures like cocoons that could cover you at night and could use as clothing during the day. They also could house water and some power. That dystopic future, it was very sad to me, and breaking out of that was necessary at some point. I really started to just think about my own life and how outside of this future that I was inventing, we all had to live. That translated into the Flock House project, where 3 of these spherical houses moved or were choreographed throughout the city. When Flock House was in different parks in the city, we could actually inhabit them and we could stay in them overnight. I wanted to really reflect necessary migration that had to do with environmental, economic, and political needs to move. On the one hand, I want Triple Island to be sculptural, and on the other hand, it really needs people to exist in the space to come alive. It's pushed in a further direction, like closer to my personal goals with life and art when there's someone here. To me, that means communally sharing resources, food, water, and power, and how can that be done in a very minimal way?
This is my solar power plant. These are like my battery arrays. I have 2 arrays of car batteries that store all my solar panel, which I collect from the collectors on top of the greenhouse. I have a refrigerator here, a pot refrigerator. So it keeps things relatively fresh. This is also my home. I've been here since the beginning of August, a little over a month. It's a lot chillier now.
You're planning on staying for how long?
Through the end of the project, which is more November-ish, December-ish. But I think it's really important to like people are like, oh, it's gonna get so cold, but you know, it's gonna be really important to experience that part of the project. Because Mary's really apocalyptic and imagines a world in which you don't have a supply chain in which you can get your needs, and so she's inventing things in which you can still live in like an urban habitat. I am interested in gaining a few more degrees of relative freedom from giant, like inhuman institutions.
Obviously, we're at a very unbalanced time right now, as far as like who has power and who has control, and who doesn't have access, and who does. But then the thing that I am optimistic about is how people, I think, can work together in a more grassroots and undercurrent way, and really make something that's a different world. I'd like to get to a future where we're actually living in this way, in real space and time. And the sculpture is just more of a symbol for this idea.